Start recording.
Okay. Welcome, all of you. We got comfort twice. Oh, no, now we've got it down. And I'm going to confess that I am about to do a Paula Bellingham impersonation. And that is because Dr. Paula was invited to be a keynote type speaker for a Facebook sponsored event for a couple hours. And she will be speaking on the role of Black women in the world today, which is an interesting topic for a white woman. And that's okay because she has collected all kinds of information in her life. I am so grateful that Kelvin's here. Thank you, Kelvin, for being here. Thank you all for being here. And so there's a lot of background noise, and let's see, maybe Comfort and Kelvin, you can go ahead and mute yourselves, please. There we go. There's one of you. Comfort. Kelvin, go ahead and mute yourself, please. And what's really important to me today, almost more than anything that I've done in a long time, Comfort's back up again. Come on, Comfort. Go ahead and mute yourself, please. You can, there you go. Is that you really listen today. Please, no playing on your computer or talking to the kids in the background or chasing the chickens. Please listen to what is being said, because it is very, very insightful, as only Dr. Paula can do. Just please paste her face on so that you know that it's from her. Oh, good. Gerald, haven't seen you for a while. I got to stop myself on this. I get excited about seeing all of us. So come on board, Gerald, and please mute yourself. So glad to see you. We are going to go ahead and start. So what I am reading today will be given to each of you. This is a presentation called Peace is Possible. And what Dr. Paula would like is for you to take this information and to be able to start with it at your home and then into, oh good, Bingana, please come on and mute yourself. And so she wants you to be able to come on and take this and use it as your basic way to interface with not only your own family, but with those in your community and eventually your country and our world. So please try to pay close attention, and I will be as Paula as I can. Peace is possible. The Dalai Lama said, the purpose of life is to be happy. By the way, if you can't hear me, I will look up occasionally and tell me that I'm not being heard so that I can do something. The Dalai Lama said, the purpose of life is to be happy. The greatest degree of inner tranquility comes from the development of love and compassion. And love and compassion always lead to peace. The story I will share now is about inner tranquility. There once was a king. Hang on. Oh, you're hearing me. Okay. There once was a king who offered a prize to the artist who would paint the best picture of peace. Many artists tried. The king studied all the pictures, but there was only two that he really liked. He had to choose which one would win the prize. One picture was of a beautiful, calm lake. The lake was a perfect mirror. Peaceful, towering mountains surrounded it. Overhead was a blue sky with fluffy white clouds. All who saw this picture thought it was the perfect picture of peace. The other picture had mountains too. The mountains were rugged and bare, and above was an angry sky, from which rain fell and which lightning struck. Down the side of the rugged mountain tumbled a foaming waterfall. This did not look peaceful at all, but when the king looked closer, he saw behind the waterfall a small green bush growing out of a crack in the rock. On the bush, a mother bird had built her nest. There, in the midst of a torrent of water, sat the mother bird on her nest, calmly and peacefully. Which picture do you think he chose? The king chose the second picture because, explained the king, peace is not being in a place where there is no noise, no trouble or difficulties. Peace means to be in the midst of those things with a calm, peaceful heart. That is the real meaning of peace. We all have challenges and turbulences in our lives. However, we also, all of us, enjoy the freedom to choose whether or not we will create our own personal peace, even during troubling, turbulent times. Have you noticed, like I have, that two people can be in the same place, doing the same thing at the same time, and one is upset and the other is happy? The difference is simple. The conflicted person usually chooses to look at life through the mirrors as they worry about how things will affect or benefit them personally. On the other hand, the happy person usually sees life through windows, seeing the needs of others and serving them. Unhappy people often blame others for their unhappiness. Happy people radiate light and love and see their challenges as opportunities to grow. Here's a question. How many of you believe that having peace in your heart is possible? I would hope that you all do. So if peace in our hearts is possible, then peace in our homes is possible, and peace in our communities is possible. And yes, peace in the world is possible. Therefore, my friends, we can all hold the great hope that as we continue striving to be personally peaceful, we will be doing our part to lift the level of love and peace on earth. I would like to share 5 powerful action steps to help us each be more peaceful. Number 1, believe and become. Number 2, shift and shine. Remember, you're getting all of this, so you don't have to take notes. Number 3, eliminate ego. Number 4, lighten up and love. Number 5, promote peace. So action step 1 is to believe and become. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and philosopher, said, "A man's life is what his beliefs make of it," end quote. William James, said to be the American father of psychology, wrote, quote, "The greatest discovery of my generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their beliefs," end quote. Friends, within each of us is a power we scarcely even tap. This power has fueled heroic deeds since time began and has energized great inventors, artists, musicians throughout the ages. It's the exact same power available to each of us every day of our lives. It's the power of belief. Author Dale Carnegie said, quote, "Believe you will succeed. Believe it firmly, and then you will do what is necessary to bring success about," end quote. Yes, as we develop the sense of certainty that positive beliefs provide, we will be able to accomplish virtually anything, including those things that others think are impossible. If you are to achieve the goal of increasing the level of love and peace on earth, we must first believe that it's possible. We must believe that our world can be a better place and we can be the change we wish to see in the world. As Gandhi said, And the wonderful news is there are studies that prove that our future is better than you may think. We have substantial data that provides that there is a great abundance in this world. Using almost any metric currently available, there are studies that show the quality of life for billions of people in this world has improved more in the past century than ever before, and it looks as if global living standards will continue to improve, regardless of the horrors that dominate the headlines. We really do have cause to rejoice. Yes, there is a great and mighty work to do because there are serious problems that need fixing and many improvements need to be made. But each of us does our part. If each of us does our part, enjoying more peace is possible. We must first believe it and hold that belief firmly in our hearts as we work to become more loving and peaceful in our own personal lives. For as you see, peace can only begin in each individual heart. And then when wise parents teach in the home by example and precept, our youth can help peace spread throughout humanity in ways never before witnessed in the history of the world. So let us be peacemakers and actively teach the next generation that peace is possible. That was action step 1, believe and become. Action step 2 is shift and shine. What does it mean to shift and shine? Here's a short story to illustrate this, written by a young mother. This is a really good one. One day, my young daughter was late coming home from school. I was both annoyed and worried. When she came through the door, I demanded in my upset tone that she explain why she was late. She said, "Mommy," quote, "Mommy, I was walking home with Julie, and halfway home, Julie dropped her doll and it broke into lots of little pieces," end quote. Quote, "Oh, honey," I replied, "you were late because you helped Julie pick up the pieces of her doll to put them back together." In her young and innocent voice, my daughter said, "No, Mommy, I didn't know how to fix the doll. I just stayed to help Julie cry." And I thought that was amazing. What is the shift we need to have soft, loving hearts? I believe it begins with knowing that we don't need to go looking for love or for joy. We already have those qualities inherently within us, and we can access them at any time. At times, we might feel overwhelmed if we think we're supposed to promote peace by solving the water problems in Africa or eliminating the strife in Syria. What we're talking about now is beginning the promotion of peace by making a shift in our own hearts. Shifting our perspective is like rearranging our DNA. It's like an awakening. And when we're living wide awake, our understanding and consciousness is at a higher level, and we peel off any crust that may have gathered around our hearts. And then we can see the beauty, the abundance, and the love all around us that's begging to be seen, yearning to be acknowledged, and longing to be shared. This shift is like a transformation of our hearts and souls. When we experience this shift, we are more tolerant and forgiving, more patient and kind, more peaceful. People who have experienced this can be recognized easily because they shine. We know many people who shine, and some of them are here today, right here with us on this virtual meeting. Others live in the slums of Kiberia in Nairobi, where 1 million people live in 1 square mile. And yet, despite their circumstances, many in Kiberia are happily shining. Others who shine are working on farms in Mexico or Malaysia. Some are government leaders in Ethiopia and England. or they're in offices in Singapore and Spain, or they're home tending their children in the Netherlands or Nepal. Yes, people who shine are everywhere. These are those with strong spirits and indomitable wills who are all firmly rooted in 5 things. People who shine stand on a foundation of 1, powerful, positive beliefs, 2, moral values, 3, optimistic attitudes, 4, never give up work ethics, deep hope, number 5, for a better future. People who shine refuse to be victims of their circumstances, and they choose to have joyful hearts, no matter what's happening around them or who is trying to bring them down. Misery is just not an option for them. So many men and women who exemplify this all over the world are wonderful young people, just like you. Why? Because you've made the shift we all need to make if we're to lead out as peacemakers. Yes, people who are living what I like to call wide awake understand that we can only contribute to a peaceful world to the extent that we are personally peaceful. Step 3, action step 3, eliminate ego. Eliminate ego means that we need to shift and to slough off the pride and the fear of many things, if not having enough, of not knowing enough or not being good enough. We need to release the negativity and let go of what part of us that covets, resents, blames, that refuses to forgive and holds on to anger or jealousy, that focuses on self. Eliminating ego means to let go of that part of us that seeks out the faults in ourselves and in others. Ego is all negativity that originates from selfishness, false beliefs, and fearful perceptions. Eliminating ego is the most difficult of the 5 action steps for many people. However, it is also the most powerful. Why? Because when ego is eliminated, the result is a change of heart. Yes, a profound awakening and enlightenment always follows when egos are released. We could talk about this for hours, but simply stated, eliminating ego is about getting yourself out of the way and learning how to truly love and serve others. Action step 4, lighten up and love. Sweet ones, a reminder to us all is that we can lighten up by simply not sweating the small stuff and living in gratitude, paying attention to the many things we do have and focusing on the good things in our life. Dale Carnegie said, quote, happiness doesn't depend on outer conditions. It depends on inner conditions. It isn't what we have or where we are or what we're doing that makes us happy or unhappy. It's what we think about it, end quote. There was a study on happiness completed in 1984. 2,000 people's lives were studied. The conclusion was this: happy people, quote, happy people and unhappy people tend to have very similar life experiences. The difference is that the average unhappy person spends more than twice as much time thinking about unpleasant events in their lives. And happy people tend to seek and rely upon information that brightens their personal outlook, end quote. I'd like to share a saying that hung in Mother Teresa's office, written by Kent Keith. Mother Teresa said that she read it often, and it goes like this: people are often unreasonable and seem self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are kind, people may accuse you of ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you are honest, people may cheat you. Be honest anyway. If you find happiness, people may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today may be forgotten tomorrow. Be good anyway. Give the world the best you have, and it may never be enough. Give your best anyway. For you see, in the end, it is between you and God. It never was between you and them anyway. Action step 5, promote peace. Let's look now at the 7 B's, B-E, B's to promote peace. These 7 things will help us to be guardians of peace. The first B is to be grateful. We discuss gratitude. It is a critically important piece of peace. Let's focus on what we have, not what we don't have. Also, we should remember that what we focus on expands. If we focus on lack and limitation, we will receive more lack and limitation. If we focus on sharing our love and light, more love and light will come over us and our way. 2, be loving. Be others-centered instead of self-centered by giving service gladly. Mother Teresa said, quote, spread love wherever you go. First of all, in your own home. Give love to your husband, your wife, your children, your next door neighbor. Let no one ever come to you without leaving better and happier, end quote. The third B, be flexible and cheerful. Our ability to be flexible and cheerful is an indication of our strength of character. Let's do all we can to bring joy into our own lives and into the lives of others, and let's laugh more often. And don't sweat the small stuff. Have you noticed that when what we worry about is almost all small stuff? Let's release our negative thoughts and allow our positive thoughts to flourish in our minds. The fourth B is be forgiving. Forgive yourself and others quickly. Perhaps you've heard that not forgiving is like taking poison and expecting the other person to die. You're hurting yourself far more than you're hurting them. And we need to get past the past. Let us take the best and discard the rest. And from our past experiences, discard them. Be kind to yourself and others when you speak. Use positive self-talk like, quote, every day I'm becoming more patient and loving, end quote. Only speak to others and about others as you would want them to speak to you. The 6B is to be free from worry. Worry is like, I like this is so cool. Worry is like a rocking chair. It keeps you busy, but it doesn't get you anywhere. A worried heart is not a peaceful heart. Awaken the ability to release yourself from worry by thinking, quote, worrying won't solve the problem, end quote. Then either take constructive action to solve the problem or simply let it go. Worry is a habit we can break. It simply takes effort and time. And the last B is be the inspiration. Let us show the next generation and everyone whose life touches ours how to be loving and peaceful by being loving and peaceful. Let's inspire others to promote peace by our inspirational examples. My friends, let's ask ourselves how we can be better peacemakers in our homes, in our workplaces, in our communities. Because at the end of the day, increasing the love and peace on earth is possible when one heart at a time shifts and becomes more loving and peaceful. We can do this. Do not doubt that increased peace on this earth, this planet, is possible. Here's a closing story written by a young woman years ago. Oh, this is cool. Quote, my grandfather took me to the fishing pond when I was about 7, and he told me to throw a stone into the water. He told me to watch the circles created by the stone. Then he asked me to think of myself as that stone. You may create lots of splashes in your life, but the waves that come from those splashes may disturb the peace of your fellow creatures, he said. Remember that you are responsible for what you put in that circle, for that circle will touch many other circles. You should live in a way that allows the good from your circle to strengthen and add goodness to other circles. The splash that comes from anger or jealousy will ripple out and spread Send those negative feelings to other circles. You are responsible for both types of ripples, good and bad. Dear guardians of tomorrow, we each create the inner peace or discord that flows out into the world. We cannot help create world peace if we are riddled with inner conflict, hatred, doubt, or anger. We radiate the feelings and thoughts that we hold inside, whether we speak them or not. Whatever is splashing around inside of us is spilling out into the world, creating beauty or discord with other circles of life. If we cannot find peace within ourselves, we will never find it anywhere else. Now is the best time in history of the world to increase the love and peace on earth, because there is a rising and awakening of humanity like never before, as more and more people are realizing that increased peace is possible. Why? Because although there will always be hatred and strife on our planet, more and more people are making peace a priority. They are realizing that together we can join hands and link arms, connecting, collaborating, and refusing to believe that war is the answer. The answer is to have peace in our hearts and in our homes, which will increase the peace in our communities and nations. Perhaps we can begin by believing in the goodness of mankind. We know there is much, much more good than bad in our world. People are inherently kind and loving, and we all want the same thing. Yes, people in every home, in every nation want the same exact thing. We all want to be safe and happy. We all want to be loved and appreciated, and we all want to know that our lives matter. Oh, and each life really does matter. Each life is precious. Every splash and every ripple in the waters of humanity matters. Dear young people, let us be actively engaged each day in the great cause of peacemaking in our hearts, in our homes, in our workplaces, in our communities, and in our nations. Because inner peace, when multiplied, can change the world. Yes, peace is possible. I leave you my love. God bless you. Pretty amazing, huh? What a beautiful woman she is. To have those thoughts and to so clearly and concisely provide them for us. I want to ask all of you a question. What nuggets did you take away from this? You may unmute yourselves and kind of raise your hand. And since I know basically all of you to some degree, I don't know Viengana real well, but please, what did you take away from this? Who wants to start? Fatima?
Sure, ma'am. That was really positive. Actually, it was going like a flow. It was like a river, to giving a lot of positivity from the very first to the last. We are all having so a lot of afraid, a fear, a lot of hope, but this session was full of energy and positive. I have to say that it was awesome.
Good. Thank you, Fatima. Thank you. Gerald, you had your hand up, Gerald. Go ahead, Gerald.
Yes. Yeah, thank you very much for such kind, thoughtful, and amazing teaching about creating peace. Basically, I will begin with thanking everyone who has attended this IYP. And it's a great pleasure to have you again here. I'm very happy, and I want to thank all of you for coming what I take away from this, first of all, I learned that it costs nothing to love your colleague or to love everyone. Because when you love your colleague, it means that you are loving God. And that means when you love your colleague and God loves you, you will get the happiness inside you. Because love is everything. And what I can actually take is that when you have the love, the true love for the community, for your nation, for your family, there is peace guarantee there. Can assure you, there is peace. Mm-hmm. So that's why within the court, actually, that statement, I remember Mama Paula mentioned it in Uganda when she visited. She said that some people hate their colleagues, expecting others to die. In other words, they are swallowing their own poison, expecting others to die. So therefore, I'm taking it that it is our obligation to love one another, and it costs nothing, and it is godly, it is divine, and we need to love one another and create peace within our hearts, and then live happy. Maybe if God decides to take us, because I remember one of the quotes of the late Nelson Mandela once said that we have limited time to stay on earth, but we need to use this period or the little time we have for the purpose of transforming our communities into what we desire them to be. That's right. By transforming our communities, it means that we need to change our mindset. We need to change our heart towards mankind and humanity, and that can actually guarantee that we together can live in harmony and have a reduced acrimony, and then try to create and develop our society inclusively and sustainably. We live together. That's my submission.
Thank you, Gerald. That was a real good overview, and I'm glad that you got that out of it. Raising hand of Christian. Christian, talk to us.
Yeah, I really loved the story illustrated in the reading. A picture that would picture like a peaceful picture, something, a peaceful world. What was chosen was that's one of a troubled fall, but inside the rock there was a knee of a bird that was calmly peacefully sitting inside there. And that story and that picture illustrated that peace is not a lack of problems, of troubles. Mm-hmm. So when we talk of peace is when there is trouble and then you find yourself loving, doing good stuff, feeling good. And that's what peace is. So if there is, I'm just kind of taking it in this scenario, saying that there must be opposition in everything. And in order to talk of peace, we need war or something like that. But it's just trying to encourage us that we shouldn't focus on what is negative, because when we focus on it, it expands. So we should focus on peace. We should focus on good, and then everything would expand in good. So I really loved I've read it before, and I was so inspired when I read it. And still, since I read it, my life has changed in the way I look at it. Because I'm like, instead of trying to see what is bad, or sometimes I'm there are bad news everywhere on TV and everywhere in the world. So there are also good things going on. So choose what you want. What if you choose good, it expands. If you choose bad, it also expands. You will be negative and stuff. So I really loved it.
Yeah. Thank you, Christian. Yeah, at first when I heard the story a while back, it took me aback. I thought, no, I don't, no, that doesn't, I fought it in my mind until now. I totally realize exactly it's what you internally take of whatever's happening around you. And that's the most important that we can share with others. Who else would like to share some nuggets of what you have learned? I know Kelvin said he can't because of his voice right now. Who else would like to share what you got out of that? Kuwang, are you with us? Kuwang's usually very vocal about what she hears and understands. Can you unmute yourself, Kuwang, or are you not in a place? Maybe you've got the baby in your lap. Anyone else like to share?
Maybe let me bounce back briefly. What I forgot to mention is that the first piece, actually the primary piece, is actually begins within our hearts. When our hearts are well, when our hearts are actually good towards others, it means that maybe we would be seeing no racism, maybe we would be seeing reduced conflicts, we would not be seeing nations saying, I will fight you, I will bomb you, or maybe that kind of stuff. So that means that in any situation, whatever the human or mankind is actually going through, I learned a lesson that what is causing the great conflict, the animosities that we have across the world and globe, not limited with our countries and our communities, is that it is always the heart. People are desperate for success, for which maybe they are seeing that if maybe somebody is well, is successful, I am not successful, maybe I should kill the person to obtain the wealth, or maybe to obtain whatever he has acquired or whatever he has. So that is the issue of the heart. So that means that if the people now develop the love within themselves, create their own peace, it means on the religious point of view that God is going to visit them. When God visits them in their hearts, we'll forgive them and we'll work with them and we'll bless them. So to me, I actually agree strongly that if we develop the love, the primary love within our hearts, it is going to mean that we would not be having people dying, we would not be having the armed conflict, the civil strife, the racism that we've been hearing on media, on CNN and so on, what I've been watching. But that is all about the instinct within our mind that maybe some other people should not exist, or maybe I should be envious against someone who is happy, maybe me, I'm not happy. So that all is attributed to lack of love and consequently leads to no peace. So it is my humble appeal to everyone here that let's spread the love, as Mama Paula has told us in the speech. Let's spread the love to everyone. By spreading the love, it means that you are appreciating God's creation. And when you appreciate God's creation, it means that God is going to bless the communities, is going to bless you, and you never know that we shall have peace. Peace shall prevail. Peace shall prevail in our governments. Peace shall prevail in our democracies. And the human rights shall be restored when we have the peace. So all this is all attributed to human selfishness and what actually lack. That's my attribution, my contribution. Thank
Absolutely. Thinking that living if it's happening. The other thing that I think is really important that we consider is to try to not have judgment. And I think that's where the ego part came into that, is that we tend to get hooked on the emotion of a situation and to put judgment upon things we have absolutely no knowledge of what caused them. Then as we judge others, then of course the emotion comes into action and then things change. So it is difficult to be out of judgment, though as you think of as an observer looking down in the situation, often it makes it so much easier because you can be the peacemaker by listening, by trying to understand, and by understanding, the fear goes away. So to be the observer and to be as much non-judgmental as possible also helps us to get to a place where we can be the example. And that, of course, is the key to inner peace, absolutely. And I also love the quote from, I've been studying a lot of Deepak and a few others. Being at peace is my greatest strength. So when people ask what your greatest strength is, it is being at peace with yourself. And when you're at peace with yourself and you appreciate that which is in your life and you pay attention to that. I also have another saying that I love. Gifts from God are extended based upon my acknowledgement of them. I try to teach my grandchildren that, but they don't quite catch it. Gifts from God are extended because of my acknowledgement of them. So when you are grateful and thank for whatever has come into your path, you'll get more of it. It's that simple. Yenny, did you wish to say something? Yenny keeps looks like Jenny's going to say something, but Faith, I guess not. Any other thoughts about people that shift and shine? People who shift and shine. Have you ever known people in your life who shine? They've pivoted, as we are using that word too much today, but that's just what it is. They pivoted, and in spite of all that's happening, they shine. Have any of you experienced those type of people in your life that you might like to briefly share? We have about 5 minutes, depending on what clock I look at. Nida, soulful feeling that we're making a difference in what we do. Absolutely, Nida. It is a soulful feeling that we are making a positive difference. That is peace. That is the beauty and the wonder of abundance when you feel you have a part of that abundance. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yenny keeps coming up with a plate. Yes, go ahead.
Are you saying go ahead to me?
Yes.
Okay. Throughout life, we have hardships and trials. And I know all of you have been there at some point in time. I most certainly have. And when the dust settles and, you know, the craziness is over, 99% of the time, you have grown in some way. You have become more compassionate. You're more humble. You're wiser in some way. You're more generous. I mean, there's things that we learn. In fact, there's kind of a, I don't know if I'd call it a joke, but they say that if you ask God for courage, he'll give you the opportunity to gain courage. If you ask God for patience, wiser in some way, you're more generous. Things that we learn. In fact, there's kind of a joke, but the opportunity that forces you to become patient. I mean, God just doesn't hand out. If you ask God for patience, God, help me to develop patience, he'll give you that has given me peace over the years, knowing that whatever's happening in my life right now, is actually going to be a good thing. I may not feel it at that moment, but I know through past experience that it turns out to be for my benefit, and I am a better person because of the hardship that I'm currently going through. And so if you look at your trials as an educational experience, it's easier to embrace them and accept them with grace and with peace, knowing, well, you know, I did that, I can certainly do this, and I'm going to learn something from it. And it's all back to the attitude of actually being grateful, even for some experience that right now you really are not enjoying, and knowing that it's going to help you to grow. And that's how I have dealt through all my trials and managed to keep a peaceful state of mind.
Yes, absolutely. Sometimes it takes quite a distance with looking, you know, to be able to look at that, and while you're in it, it's difficult to see. But yeah, I'm sure that it's been placed there so that you can grow, and you have the strength and the ability to do that, or it wouldn't have been given to you in the first place. I totally believe that. We have Soulful Thing that we're making difference. Who else? Kelvin, he's been thinking of that living a peaceful life is the absence of challenges and sufferings. But today I've learned that I can choose to live a peaceful life regardless of challenges in life. If my inner peace is multiplied, then it's possible to create a peaceful community in the world at large. No circumstance in life can make me unhappy without my consent. Amen. Thank you so much once more. Absolutely, Kelvin. Robyn. Go ahead, Robyn.
Oh, I was basically done. I was just clapping Kelvin.
Oh.
Applauding.
Yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. Some beautiful thoughts. And I was just talked to a woman, I do my Thursday lunch with Jackie calls, and anyone who wants to comes around at noon and we talk. And one of the gals was a therapist, and she says she starts her morning by saying, well, God, show me today something where I can see you. Show me your presence today. Let me know that you are here. That could be good, bad, or ugly. But the point is, show me that you are here. And I think that's an interesting outlook. What is it that's going to happen today? What am I going to learn today? What is it that's going to be put in my path that I can show a wonderful response? Because life is an evolution. We are all evolving, and it's all part of this whole thing. I mean, this is just a very small part. And if your life is being turned upside down around you, as some of you already are experiencing, there are so many things you cannot control. It's a matter of saying, this I can control. Right up here between the ears, I can control. The rest of it I can't. So you need to get your awakening muscle going. I can't. There's nothing I can do about it. Well, what can I do? Well, maybe I could do this or that. Keep safe. What can I do? What can I do really to flip it and make it positive? What does God want me to know and to do? What is it that I am supposed to? And a lot of times I'll just take a breath and say, what is it you want me to know? So I want you to think as you get through this next few days, whatever, how long it is. I think it's Faith that's making the background noise. Could you please mute yourself? As you get through the rest of this day, in many of your cases, the day's almost done. Mine's kind of just beginning. As you get through this rest of day, and I want you to consider what it is that Dr. Paula said, and just the real fast review. is there are 5 powerful action steps to believe and become, to shift and shine, to eliminate ego, to lighten up and love, to promote peace. And the person who shines, they think positive, powerful, positive beliefs. They have moral values, optimistic attitudes, never give up work ethics, deep hope for a better future. And when you eliminate ego, lighten up love, then you get to promote peace. And the 7 B's: be grateful, be loving, be flexible and cheerful, be forgiving, be kind to yourself, be free of worry, and be the inspiration. And watch those ripples, because every breath, every word, every thought that you have is somehow being recorded in the annals of time. Make it a positive recording. Thank you so much. And I'll see you guys next week. Thank you
Thank
again.
you, Jackie, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Robyn, ma'am, for sharing and shining.
Yep.
Actually, you guys are amazing, Robyn, ma'am, and Jackie, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank
I'm so glad
Thank
that you were
you.
here. Free of worry is difficult to do. I know, Kumong. These are not easy things. I never claimed this was going to be an easy process. Yet if you start
I
with
have a
what you
sweet
love,
story to end.
you can. Yes.
I have a sweet story to end with. It's a story about a little 10-year-old boy who goes to the park with a Twinkie to feed the birds. And he goes there and he sees this old man sitting on a bench with a little brown bag, and he sits down and they're sitting there and they're feeding the birds, and the old man says, I have a sandwich, would you like part of it? And he said sure, and he shares his Twinkie with the old man, and they talk, and they brown bag, and he sits down, enjoy the park and the birds and all that. And then they both go home, and the old man's wife said, you know, how was your visit in the park? And he said, I think I met God today. She said, really? And he said, yeah, he was a lot younger than I thought he would be. And the little boy goes home, and his mom says, how was your day with the ducks and the birds? And he said, I think I met God today. And she was speechless, and she looked at him and she said, well, what did you think? And he said, well, he was a lot older than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
So the whole point is that, you know, God shows his presence. I think I met God today. She said, really? The person that you're meeting, you know, you might be touching an angel or a representative God or whatever. Maybe he comes down to visit us. So just look at every person as an extension of God, and share that honor and love with him or her, whoever it may be. Anyway, that's all.
Absolutely. And there's a saying that we've used in exercises before. You look at the person in front of you, and in your face, I see the face of God. And if you look to people that way, that each person you meet is the one, and you never know what that means other than they are part of your life and they're supposed to be there for a reason. So go find the face of God in each person. Make it a great one.
Thank you.